What's up, everybody? Hayden Wayne 75 here, and today we are going to do a little bit of a deep dive into the winner of the Game Changer Award from the Game Awards in 2024. Now, the winner is Amir Satvat, and I've done some looking into him, and let me start this off by saying I do think the man is actually a fan of video games. And we'll go into the evidence on that, but then we're going to look into just kind of who he is, some of the stuff that he's done, and maybe why this is actually detrimental to gaming. So we're going to go right into this announcement, and let's just see how good old Jeff at the Game Awards introduced Amir.
Starting in early 2023, significant waves of layoffs started in the games industry.
It strikes you, it hurts, right? It's like a ton of bricks.
What am I supposed to do?
Tens of thousands of gamers have been laid off at a level that is unprecedented in the industry's history.
I love this brand, I love this company. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do?
I actually started in games relatively late. Even though I've loved the industry ever since I was a little child, because there weren't games jobs around here, I stayed passionate about it and broke through in basically my late 30s. I had seen a few friends get laid off before Thanksgiving.
Now, see, we're getting some views here on his YouTube channel that he has, and we'll look into that because there's something very interesting that happened with his YouTube channel after the Game Awards aired.
And I said to my wife, Jess, this is unacceptable.
Hi everybody, it's Amir, and I'm here to help support you as you look for your next opportunity in video games.
I can't imagine what it must feel like for someone to have to go to their family around the holidays and say, I don't have a job, I don't know what's going to happen. I had a robust background.
I would say that this seems like a noble endeavor, but this also seems like it's coming from somebody who doesn't understand where the problems are stemming from. But we'll continue so he can explain a little bit more about what he does.
And things like data analysis. And I said, well, I can do something with this. I started a community with one resource.
We just started putting together a list of all the job openings out there.
And over iteration after iteration, it ended up becoming a suite of several different resources. We have 2,300 coaching volunteers who've given people over 50,000 community coaching conversations for free.
He's pure pro bono, Amir.
There is no payment. He doesn't take anything back from the community.
I'm proud.
He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to. Amir has a very good job. But since we were showing his YouTube channel just a second ago, let's go ahead and jump over to his YouTube channel. Now we can see that the subscriber number has come up a little bit. He's got 13 videos. And the oldest from about 2 years ago, and he's got some stuff on here that's 50 rapid fire questions with game industry veteran Richard Brown, Plumber Man, a love letter to Super Mario. That's nice. The Amir Awards is a thing that he does, I guess. Which, okay, cool. Hey, everybody can have their own awards, and you'll notice this is the same jacket that he wore in the acceptance speech that he gave. I believe the man is a fan of games. But there was something interesting that I noticed in getting prepared to make this video, and it's that he only has 13 videos. When I first pulled up his page, he had 528 videos. Most of them have been either deleted or completely privated. I guess there's no way to really tell what, but here on the Wayback Machine, we actually do have a good chunk of, a bit of a chunk of the videos that he had. Now, he started uploading 6 years ago, but we're not able to see all of that now. But what we can see is that the first deleted video here is his how to find a job in video games that he uploaded 10 months ago. But again, I do think that this man is actually a fan of video games because he's got 5 minutes and 18 seconds that he dedicated to Mortal Kombat fatalities 1 year ago. His first 37 minutes in Starfield, which I can only imagine did not go very well. His LinkedIn is the social media that he is most popular on. He's got a pretty big community there, and we'll look at his LinkedIn here in a few minutes. But 42,000 LinkedIn follower celebration 1 year ago. Games Report, Amir Satvat and Chadwick Turner. Diablo 4 review, top 10 games of all time from 1 year ago. Diablo 4, the first 30 minutes. He did a 3-minute piano journey through the Legend of Zelda series. We saw in that little intro that he plays piano. He's got tons of stuff here, and one of the most important things is right down here. It's kind of hidden behind me at the moment, but it is a virtual tour of my games room and collectibles, and it is a 26-minute long video. But right here, he's got an unboxing. A Power A enhanced wireless controller for Nintendo Switch, unboxing Puma RS Dreamer. He's got tons of unboxing videos and stuff like that that would show his love for gaming. Now, Amir has come out as of December the 17th and said that he was getting a lot of people commenting and saying that he's not an actual gamer, and I don't believe that to be true. I believe that he is an actual gamer. And I think that he does care about games, but I couldn't speak to what his ideology would be when it comes to games. Now again, you can find a lot of this stuff on the Wayback Machine, and that's where I had to go to find this. There was a single archive, and it was from just a day after the Game Awards. Whoever you are that archived his YouTube homepage, his videos, thank you for doing that. But let's take a look at his website here, because the thing is, Amir has created a resource for people to go to that get fired in the game industry or laid off, and he's given them a place to be able to, well, he's scraped all of the job offers that are in the gaming industry, and he's brought them all to one spot and given people advice on how to get a job in gaming or continue their career in gaming. Personally, I believe that this has created a revolving door of the people that are getting laid off from companies that are failing and getting them into other companies. Now, I can understand how, as a man in the industry, you would want to make sure that people can keep their jobs, but honestly, this is where we get the whole put the fries in the bag thing. Because it's not that these people deserve to be unemployed, it's that these people who go in and create games are jamming their ideology into games, and we are not fans of that. That's why these companies are having unprecedented layoffs. Now, Amir thinks differently. He thinks that companies blew up during COVID, and he might be right. But I think that the issue is that these companies aren't selling the games that they're creating. And we know the reason they are not selling them is because they are implanting their ideology firmly into the core of the games. And this is something we are trying to escape. Amir here has unfortunately created a revolving door for those people to make sure that they're able to maintain their jobs in the industry rather than looking at another industry and maybe going to work somewhere else. This is an ideological war, and sometimes there are people who may not understand what it is that they're doing that are fighting on a certain side. If we take a look at his website here, it's We Help Gamers Get Hired. They are the #1 Google search result for game job resources. He's got a little video here. He's got resources, deep dives, his latest projections, because that's another thing that he does. He does go around and talk to people about where he thinks the gaming industry is going to go as far as job availability is. And again, I would say that that is a noble thing to do. The problem is, again, this revolving door that he has created of the people who are getting laid off and fired being able to get into other companies. He's got several categories and links here to be able to try to help people increase their hireability and make their resumes better, stuff like that. And You can download his guide. One thing that I found really interesting down here is on Get Social. He's got his LinkedIn, which again is his main platform, his Discord server where they talk about a lot of stuff, his Blue Sky. I think we all know what everybody who, has a Blue Sky, they tend to have a certain leaning politically now. And his YouTube channel, but there's no link for his X, his Twitter. That's just non-existent now. So that could give you an idea as to maybe the way that he leans politically. I don't know. I've done a lot of research on the guy, and I could not find anything that just directly stated his politics, his opinions on DEI. There may be new stuff that comes out, but as of the time of this recording, man, I dug so deep into this, I even found, his marriage announcement in his local newspaper. And I couldn't find anything on his politics or what he thinks about things. But I've got an article here from Level Infinite. The Tencent director who's helping job seekers find roles in gaming. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is correct. If you did not know yet, Amir works for Tencent and at a director level. Now, he claims to not be involved in any of their acquisitions, but we'll look into Tencent here in just a little bit. The games industry is in the middle of a seismic shift. With over 30,000 job cuts to date, redundancies and studio closures are widespread and ongoing. The cuts aren't just affecting smaller indies. Big publishers are also laying off teams and canceling products. During these turbulent times, Amir Satvat has emerged as an unlikely hero. By day, he's a business development director for Tencent Games, where he's responsible for assessing games companies for investment or acquisition. As I said, he claims to not be responsible for that, but this article here says that he is responsible for assessing games companies for investment or acquisition. His contributions to the industry extend far beyond his corporate role, though. Network engineering. Since the industry layoffs began, Satvat has begun working tirelessly to support those affected. His comprehensive online support system includes LinkedIn, Discord, and a dedicated site, amirsatvat.com. And that's what we just looked at over here, this Amir's Games website. This is amirsatvat.com. And you can see that he does have, he's got a lot of plushies, he's got some Witcher collectibles, some stuff from Dragon Age. He's got stuff that, tends to point to the point that he is a gamer. I totally believe that he is a gamer, and anybody who's saying he's not, I don't think that they're being genuine about it. The fact that he works for Tencent and he's an industry insider, and it was given to us as he was just some guy that was doing a thing, that's important. But I think it's also important to note that the guy is a gamer and he does obviously care about things, right? Again, The Witcher, Dragon Age stuff, he's got tons of things here. There's Triss, right? He's been a collector and a gamer, it seems, for a while. If you looked at some of those earlier videos, which unfortunately I can't show because they won't load on the page, but he had tons of stuff showing off his collection and talking about his love for various different gaming franchises and stuff like that. But I do think that's important to note. Together, these channels provide significant resources for industry professionals affected by redundancy. Well, see, redundancy is a good thing, but also a bad thing, because things can become over-redundant. His site, for example, has 19 resources which take a holistic approach to employment with a focus on community coaching, free event tickets, and more. Which is true because, interestingly enough, GDC gave something like 200 tickets away to people that are involved in his community online, and it's an industry mess. All right, that's what this is. Creating this variety of resources was all prompted by direct community feedback, he said. The job section lists over 14,000 roles, which Satvat says is the largest free games network in the world, covering quite nearly every role in the industry. We started with one games job workbook on LinkedIn and 5,000 followers. Now we have over 95,000 followers on LinkedIn, a Discord community of over 5,500 people, and AmirSatvat.com. 3 homes, he said. Satvat's community also contains over 2,300 community coaches across 4 services. His resources at a glance. And he's got his category 1 is high visibilities, coaching, role listing. And they go through these resources and, what they are, how they're useful. And he is legitimately helping people find jobs. Again, the problem is that this is aimed at a lot of the people who have been laid off in gaming. And I don't necessarily think those people deserve to work in gaming. Because here is I've said it a couple of times, the revolving door that keeps these people going into the industry that is infected with an ideology. Now, this is something that I found particularly interesting. Satvat's dedication to the community stems from his challenging decade-and-a-half journey breaking into the industry. Based in the Northeast United States, Amir was determined to get a job in games without compromising on his family location. This was challenging as remote roles were few and far between at the time. He didn't give up, and through a mix of persistence, continual self-improvement, and a relentlessly positive attitude, got there in the end. This experience shaped his belief that preparation is key, which is why resources focus on the wider skills job seekers need to land their dream job. Satvat reiterates that the importance of community building and empathy in rebuilding the industry. Now, I wonder if his idea of rebuilding the industry is the same as the Sweet Baby Inc. guy who said he wanted to burn the industry down and rebuild it in their image. I don't know, because again, I wasn't able to find anything on Amir's politics and what he thinks about things specifically. But I think that there's a lot of people who may not have strict opinions on that kind of stuff, but tend to fall into one side and turn into the useful people, as it were. That can be as simple as taking the time to listen to colleagues who are having a hard time, he said, and stressed how important it is to connect with recruiters and hiring managers. This can greatly increase our chances of hearing about and landing a new job. Amir's approach is working. His resources and constant updates on LinkedIn and Discord have helped more than 2,500, it's closer to 4,000 now, people find jobs and sparked 46,000 coaching sessions. If you're in the industry and have been affected by layoffs, or if you're looking to make your move in gaming and don't know where to start, follow Amir Satvat on LinkedIn here. So we'll look at his LinkedIn here in a minute, but one thing that I find interesting is that he talks about, having these people getting laid off and not wanting them to not have jobs going into the holidays. And so he's created this revolving door to be able to get people into new companies. And we know that the industry has a ideology problem. They all tend to agree. They all subscribe to this certain groupthink, right? Fun fact, back in 2008, Amir Satvat, right here, was the co-author of a paper from Aston University talking about rotating the boards in corporate governance. And I have the paper right here. Rotating the boards. Can companies resolve groupthink issues and improve their performance by turning over their boards more often? Ask Mark Rogers and Amir Satvat. The notion that members of a decision-making group may become overly cohesive and suffer from so-called groupthink is commonplace in psychology and management. Equally, the recent corporate scandals in both the US and UK, again this is back in 2008, have drawn attention to the role of hubris in distorting decision-making. Despite this, little attention has been devoted to assessing how corporate boards can guard against groupthink. This study puts forward an idea about the optimal rate of board turnover. the board rotation principle, as a result of testing the impact of groupthink by analyzing data on a sample of US consumer firms from 94 to 98. The basic hypothesis used for the research was that low levels of board rotation may increase the chances of groupthink and subsequently poor performance for the companies involved. Weird. Because for somebody who was so concerned about groupthink, he is now promoting groupthink by creating this revolving door and allowing the same people who have been laid off to get involved at the same level in other companies. So we're not gonna read the rest of this stuff because this is it's a good read. Don't get me wrong, but he's gone from being somebody who didn't like groupthink to somebody who is now enabling groupthink. And we'll read this little excerpt that they decided to put into their paper. What is groupthink? Irving Janis defined groupthink in 1982 as the deterioration of mental efficiency, reality testing, and moral judgment in the interest of group solidarity. Is this not what we're seeing in the gaming industry today? Most famously, in his 1972 study of U.S. foreign policy, Janis noted that some of the worst decisions appeared to be linked to groupthink. Groupthink occurs when the members of the group become overly concerned about cohesiveness, rejecting dissent within the group, and paying little attention to external views. In some ways, therefore, groupthink is hubris of the group rather than an individual. Now, this is just the quick little 2-page cover on the paper that they wrote on this and the study that they did. But I think that that's something fairly important. Somebody who went from writing a paper on groupthink bad is now enabling groupthink. And he may not realize that he's doing that. And that's kind of the approach that I take from this based on the things that I've read about the man. Let's jump over to his LinkedIn. Because he is the game's top voice. We help gamers get hired. Now, he boasts a 109,168 followers. And, you know, he's got a... There's a lot here. He actually posts here relatively frequently. Again, this is his main social media. Like, he talks about the Game Awards, and he recently talked about people being, like, anti-Semitic towards his Jewish wife, and I don't condone any of that kind of stuff. Like, guys, don't go after somebody's family. Don't worry about that. But we can see here he does work at Tencent Games, and he's a graduate of the Wharton School, which is one of the Ivy League business schools. But there was one post that I found that there was something that I found very concerning. And it's on this post of asking... He said, I often get asked either by people trying to break into the game industry themselves or by their parents asking for their kids, why is it so hard to break into the space? And he's got a really good breakdown of like why it's difficult to get into gaming, but this is the part that I have an issue with. As time passes, the process becomes less forgiving. With every rung on the ladder, you'll face more competition from people with relevant experience. That's why I often recommend making a lateral move from a company that operates in both games and non-game spaces. Functional expertise, whether in marketing, engineering, finance, or other fields, can be a powerful way to pivot into games. Funny you say that, Amir, because if we look at his work history that's listed on LinkedIn, he started at Goldman Sachs in 2004. He was an investment banking analyst. 2008, he moved to the CFO of Mosergy Energy. It was a part-time startup. He was then in 2011 the senior manager of life sciences business development at Xterra Partners LLC. He then became, in 2012, the lead America's strategy and business development at Dell EMC, which, hey, great, good for him. Then he was the principal corporate strategy and new product business development at the Advisory Board Company. If you guys don't know about the advisory board company, I would encourage you to look into them. And then he went to the Director of Strategy and Operations at Veeam Software. He then became the head of Cloud Sales Center Strategy, Operations, and Enablement at AWS in July of 2019. He was there for 1 year and 2 months before he became the lead business development strategy at Amazon Games. From there, principal publishing producer at Amazon Games, head of global startup operations for AWS, which I can only imagine that they gave him a significant raise to get out of gaming, but he now had 1-2 years of experience in gaming at a lead level. Then he became the strategic advisor for Playside Studios in October of 2022, and finally, the business development director at Tencent Games in August of 2023. Tencent. He moved to the Chinese Communist Party gaming company that currently is running the gaming world. But here's one other, real quick little thing I wanted to touch on. He's speaking at GDC 2025. Charting the future, layoffs, recovery, and job trends and community impact with Dean Takahashi and Amir Satvat. From The Motley Fool, what does Tencent own? Now, for those of you who may not know, Tencent is a Chinese company that is owned by the Chinese Communist Party, so inherently, if they are involved, the Chinese Communist government is involved. They run Weixin WeChat, QQ, that's a instant messaging and social media app, Tencent Games, which started in 2003, and we'll go into Tencent Games here in just a second. Tencent Music Entertainment Group, which is the largest, I believe, in Chinese music. Epic Games, yep, developer of Fortnite, guys. Tencent owns a lot of them. We'll get into that shortly. C Limited, WeBank, New Holdings, Neo, Snap. That is Snapchat, ladies and gentlemen. Tencent owns a 12% stake in the social media platform Snap. Again, that is Snapchat. And let's look at the gaming companies really quick before we wrap this up, so that you understand that this man who is in charge of investment and acquisitions, what is he a part of? Now, again, he has only started working there in 2023, but let's look at what they actually have right now and what he's responsible for looking, finding, and grabbing. All right. First off, we have Riot Games. Yes, League of Legends. They own 100%. We have Epic Games. They own 40%. Now, don't get it twisted. That may be under 50%, but that does not mean that they are not a majority holder in Epic Games. And if they're not majority, they at the very least have some very big say in what goes on. Now, again, this is not just a company. This is a company that is run by the Chinese Communist Party. They also have, of Larian Studios, Baldur's Gate 3 maker. They own 30%. That is also a significant portion. From Software, 16%. Now, From Software makes Dark Souls. The parent company, Kadokawa, is possibly about to sell. There's a lot going on there, and Tencent has a decent little chunk of them. From Krafton, they have 13%. Yes, that's a piece of Fortnite and PUBG both. Ubisoft, they own 11%. They might be about to own 100%, or at least 51%. Because if you guys have been paying attention to the news around Assassin's Creed Shadows and Ubisoft taking an absolute crap in the industry, they might be about to be bought by Tencent. They own 5% of Activision Blizzard, which isn't a ton, but it still gives them a decent sway. And there are ways that they're able to get other people that own decent stakes to side with them on things. Grinding Gear Games, yes, Path of Exile, they own 80%. Isn't it interesting how all the good games are coming out of China? Other investments worth noting, we'll just rapid fire these real quick. Remedy, 14%. Leiyu Technologies, 100%. Inflexion Games, 100%. Those are the ones who made Nightingale. Supercell, they own 84.3%. Now that's a mobile that does Clash of Clans. Platinum Games, undisclosed investment. Jaeger, undisclosed. Frontier Developments, they own 9%. Yes, that's Elite Dangerous and Planet Zoo. Kako, South Korean internet and entertainment company. Paradox Interactive, which is Hearts of Iron 2. Fat Shark, undisclosed majority stake. Warhammer Vermintide 2. Yep. Funcom, they own 100%. Shark Mob, 100%. Discord, they own a chunk of Discord, but it is undisclosed. And those are the main companies that Tencent Games has. And again, if we come over here, by day he's a business development director for Tencent Game, where he's responsible for assessing game companies for investment or acquisition. Is it coincidence that he has started a free-to-use service that allows these woke, ideologically infected developers to be able to cycle through games in the West? Or is that something intentional? And maybe a reason that Tencent decided to acquire him for this specific job. I am Hayden Wayne 75. Please let me know down in the comments what you think about Amir, or how this was presented to us, where he was just some guy with a little YouTube channel, him deleting videos off of his YouTube, the various things that we've seen here. Just, I want to know your thoughts. Like the video, share the video, hit the little bell, that way you don't miss any. I know I'm a little inconsistent, guys, I'm sorry. I make videos when I can, and when I find something particularly interesting, and this thing with Amir Satvat, I don't think it's going to go away really anytime soon, so I'll be keeping an eye on it. You guys keep an eye on it too, and if you see anything interesting, let me know. Thanks for checking this one out. We'll see you guys in the next one.